G'day guys, welcome back to another video on the Water Carrier channel. Today we are going to be something different than my usual SuperCoach videos, although I haven't done those in a month or two. Just had some problems with the computer and then probably suffering from bad rank, bad team that's not really encouraging me to put my team out there, but it happens. Just need to get back to it, hopefully get this computer fixed up and get those videos going. But today I've got a different type of video, as I just mentioned, to what I usually do. So in today's video I'm going to go through the 22 under 22 team. It's quite confusing to say somehow. So yeah, for the 2021 season specifically, I'm going to run through who my team is and exactly as it says here, who makes my 22 under 22 team for the 2021 AFL season. So I've seen a lot of people already posting their teams on Twitter and the like, and I thought I'd have to jump in and give my say. So how can we get into it? So first of all, I think we got to start with the biggest lock in this team. Oh, not the biggest lock, but probably one of the biggest locks. I don't think you can go past Sam Welsh, but Sam Taylor. So Sam Taylor, a couple of people might not know who they are. I hope everyone watching my videos knows who Sam Taylor is. That he's real footy fan stuff, because this bloke gave Tom Hawkins a bath on Friday night down at the Cattery, and he was a key reason to their win, because this bloke is elite. He shut Hawkins down, and yeah, Cats didn't have the best delivery to the big man, but a lot of credit needs to go to this young lad, Sam Taylor. He's elite in his tackling, he's elite in his ground ball gets, he's elite in contested one-on-ones, contested possessions, and he averages 9 intercept possessions in a game, which is also elite. So you might be asking, well, great, you've just told us some stats. Well, my point in these stats is that not only is he elite in his contested one-on-ones and his contested interceptability. So firstly, what's that show is that he can win a one-on-one, first of all, in the defensive 50, and that's exactly what you want from your fullback. He can intercept, so he can help out his other defenders when in need. And then the third thing is he's not just up there for the tall timber. He can get down on the ground, as those stats show, ground ball gets, tackles, and he applies the pressure, and definitely is a key part of the Giants making a challenge for the top 8 this year. Brandon Starsovich, another bloke I will lock into my team. I had him in my All-Australian team earlier this year. He's probably dropped off a tiny bit from what I've seen, or maybe it's just the hype dropping off, but there's no real reason to, just think he's a good player, and feels like a bit of a lockdown defender. Now, this is a lockdown defender that I like, Jordan Ridley. I hope yet again that everyone knows who this bloke is by now. After he came out the shadows last season, he broke the ground, to be honest. He was amazing performance last year, and he's backed it up again this year, despite a bit of a role change after an early concussion. But he's definitely back on the ball, and he is knowing what he is doing. So yet again, just like Sam Taylor, he is elite in his contested defensive one-on-ones, and it's different from Sam Taylor. I assume Sam Taylor has a good disposal efficiency, but this is something Jordan really is profound for. His disposal efficiency, he goes about 90% this year, and I think it was even better last year. So this bloke, ball in hand, is a freak, and you can trust that he is going to use it correctly. And then yet again, not only can he win one-on-ones, he can help out his teammates. One of the best at intercept possessions in the game, and rebound 50s. So yeah, it helps him with the SuperCoach, to be honest, sometimes. Really racks it up. Now, here's a special, point of view. We'll get Charlie Ballard in there, sorry. Charlie Ballard, may have said it wrong. But yeah, a lot of these blokes I'm not going to talk too much on. I feel like they sort of select themselves, whereas others I sort of need to go into detail because they're contesting for their spot. So, sorry. I don't know what that is doing. So yeah, move on to the other halfback flank. Not the other, just the halfback flank. Now, Isaac Quaynor. Now, I first had Trent Rivers. I don't know if I discussed, but I looked at this last night, sort of did a bit of a draft of what I would do for this video. And I had Trent Rivers, and then I decided Isaac Quaynor. So, the reason I've gone Isaac Quaynor over Trent Rivers is I've probably prolonged this thing that I'm against Isaac Quaynor just because of his performance against Toby Green. And I sort of have to realise, because I think I got sucked into commentators like BT, who just... all over the place, that bloke who said, you know, Isaac Quaynor is one of the best defenders in the game, and not one of the best defenders, best young defenders. And my point was that if you want to be the best young defender, you got to be able to defend. And I think Toby Green kicked a bag on him. But I think I've also got to come back to earth now, realise how long ago that was, how much he's improved since then, and the fact it was, you know, bloody Toby Green on him. So yeah, this bloke is elite in his intercept possessions per game off the halfback, his rebound 50s. And then on the ground as well, he gets the job done because he is above average in his pressure acts, his tackles, spoils, and then intercept marks. So he's in the air as well. And as I mentioned before, rebound 50s really helps the Pies get going. And then the other selection here is Will Powell. For me, Will Powell, I must say, is it just because he kicked an insane goal on the weekend? No, this is something that's probably been prolonging for a long time, that I think he's a great footballer. He definitely racks it up, you could say. But yeah, like everyone else in selected in this team, he can't just do it in the air, he can also do it in the ground and vice versa. So this man is elite for intercept possessions, intercept marks, elite for his one percenters. So the thing we find with this defense is we're really racking up the pressure. And they put on the pressure, this team, so you're not going to let your opponent get off easy and score any cheap goals out the back. And then, similar to Ridley, just a bit lower, he has an 82% disposal efficiency, Will Powell. So, as I said, you can trust this bloke with ball in hand. He will use it wisely, and it really helps the Suns get up and about and get going, you could say. So, we'll move on to the midfield. I won't go for the ruck for the moment because that is something... because the ruck is something I'm still weighing up at the moment. But for the midfield, I think we all know who I'm going to pick. I mean, I think all of these blokes pretty much pick themselves, let's be completely honest. Andrew Brayshaw as well. And then you sort of have this debate, well, do you go Luke Davies-Uniacke for the third? Do you go Drew, do you go Chera, do you go Green, or even James Jordan? Well, no, James Jordan, I've sort of worked it out. James Jordan, no. Willem Drew, I love his tackling and I love his pressure, but I feel like his other part of the game, which is probably, he's behind Boak and that, so that probably doesn't necessarily help. So he's not in the mid or in this team at all. And then there's Tom Green, who I'm going to opt for later. We'll talk about him later. And then Chera is more of an outside player, so I don't really like the idea of having him in the middle. Instead, I'm going to go with an inside, a bull. Just like teammate Taron Thomas, I'm going to go with Luke Davies-Uniacke. Pretty good score involvements, pretty good possession winner. Uses it well as well. So this bloke, Bailey Smith, selects himself. And then Justin Mcinerney. So I thought Justin Mcinerney might have been a bit of a question. Well, do you go Mcinerney or Lukosius? And after watching a lot of Swans games, even though he's missed one or two or even three maybe, just a slight injury, or maybe he got dropped for the twos. But no, Justin Mcinerney, from what I've seen, he has to be in this team, and there's no debates about it. And Jack Lukosius might be a bit stiff there. So we'll go with the key forwards first. And look, some of these blokes just select themselves. I mean, the first forward picked in my team is Aaron Norton any day of the week. Not only can he do it, up, kick goals. Look, if this bloke just improves his goal kicking, he already is a star. He will be, go up another level. So 38 goals for this year. He has about 130 to 20 marks. So look, I think that more shows how much the Bulldogs use him and rely on him. The Suns and St Kilda do similar with the respective King brothers. However, I don't know, this bloke just clunks him. He doesn't really lose a 1v1 too often. I think it'd be pretty hard to go against the way he gets the jump at the footy. And then the thing is when you know, there's times when he's not going to get the mark, and obviously that happens with all forwards. He brings it to ground, he puts the pressure acts on, and he's almost a lead in that category for being a key forward and still putting the pressure on in the ground. And similar to Big Tomahawk, it's not just about kicking goals with Norton. His score involvements is one of the best in the competition for a key forward, and it actually outweighs both the King brothers. So second King brother, I think maybe I'm hinting at someone on the bench, but no, Ben King has to go on this team, 43 goals. So he's the leading for an under 22 bloke in terms of the Coleman, and it speaks for itself really. I think we all know why. Why don't you pick him in the midfield? Last 2 months haven't necessarily impressed me. He may have been battling an injury, but you know, Shea Bolton, he still picks himself. His start to the season was amazing, and he was on fire. Yeah, I get he's dropped off a tiny bit, but he still gets in my team any day of the week. Now, we're going to move down to Kazkazi Picket. I mean, this bloke picks himself yet again. Just another one of those blokes. He does it on the ground. He gets it done. Taron Thomas, another bull, just like teammate LDU. This bloke has a dangerous step, just like LDU, I reckon. Plays in my side any day of the week. Now, big one. Do you go with Goulden, Moore, Schoenberg, Stevenson? No, I'm not going to go with Schoenberg. I think I'm going to go... I haven't necessarily seen him in an overwhelming amount of teams, but I'm going to go with a bloke by the name of Zach Bailey. So the thing about Bailey over Goulden is, so Bailey has 27 goals this season, so his ratio per game is elite compared to Goulden. And the thing with Goulden that I don't think people are really realising is that Goulden's missed 4 to 6 games, I'm pretty sure, with a stress fracture, I believe, hopefully I've got that right. And I think people, you know, still underrating Bailey a bit. You know, he might not have the best disposal efficiency, and he might not win it as much as Goulden does, but this bloke still gets score involvements. I just said so. Bailey has more score involvements, but Bailey also has, you know, more... God, I've actually just contradicted myself though. Yeah, so Bailey has more disposals and score involvements than Goulden, but Goulden sort of seems to be the one in terms of pressure. And obviously there's different roles in a way, because we've seen Bailey go into the middle a bit, or at least he just, you know, gets up to the contest sometimes at a stoppage, because he is averaging a couple clearances per game. More than a couple, sorry. So yeah, this brings me to the biggest debate, the biggest talking point of this team, which is something I've been stuck on. I had Jackson last night, I had Oscar Allen earlier this morning, and I'm sort of stuck because it's almost different roles in a way. Like, they're both behind a big ruckman, but Jackson's probably more played in the ruck because of Gorn getting rested. The thing with Allen is he's played forward, he's played back. I mean, last month he's played back. We saw it just on Monday night, him playing back for majority of the game. So I think it's really hard to tell. Like, obviously Jackson has the better ruck stats, but I also feel that's just because he's played more in the ruck, and then Allen has the better, you know, forward stats. He's more reliable forward. And the thing with this team is, what do you want? Yeah, and it struck me a bit. And as much as I think Luke Jackson is great, and I think you can make the case for, like, I'm not really, you know, dissatisfied. Someone said in the comments that, you know, it's appalling not having Luke Jackson, or I should have Luke Jackson over Allen, but like, I can see the point, but I'm going to go with Allen. I think he provides a lot more in terms of getting back, getting forward. And I understand that Jackson gets forward as well, but I don't know. There's just something about it. There is a bloke by the name Tom McCartan. So this is a bit of a questionable one. I think a lot of people would have said, you know, how come no Harrison Petty's, you know, he's playing quite well at the D's. How come Charlie Ballard over him? Well, I've got Charlie in there, and McCartan. Or why do you have a, you know, not have Changuth Giath or a Trent Rivers? Well, I sort of already discussed that before in regards to Quaynell's selection, but the thing with McCartan is that he puts on the 1%ers, so you see a lot from him. You see it on the ground. So he has 7 pressure rucks a game, and then he has 5 one-on-ones per game and 6 balls. So he's above average when it comes to the defensive statistics, as well as not only in the air, but as I've mentioned, multiple times in this video already, a key theme is here we've got defenders who not only are, elite or above average in the air, but they're also there on the ground, and that's what matters when the ball hits the deck. So moving down the list, I think a bloke that selects himself is bloke by the name of Tom Green. I know he's missed a few games, and I made that excuse with Gordon. He'd been, I sort of said Gordon played more games, it'd be more of a question between him or Bailey, but I know Tom Green's missed games. He's just too much of a jet to not be in this team. He deserves. He is an inside bull, that bloke. Ridiculous, absolute freak. I think he will be, amazing for years to come. Okay, and then Chera. So yeah, I talked about Chera. I think I sort of foreshadowed that I was going to pick him in the team. Just didn't really want him in the midfield because I thought he was more of an outside player from what I've sort of seen. I understand he plays inside mid every now and then, but also I just think, start him on the interchange. There's no worries about it. He can come off one of the he can come on for one of the mids or come on for one of the wings. It doesn't really matter too much. But just going back to the Oscar Allen versus Jackson debate. So this main stat that sort of got me was, and I've talked about how Jackson, well, they both play forward, and Allen probably plays more because there's less swapping time with Natanui due to Vardy's presence this year. But Allen has 4.6 marks per game to Jackson's 2, and then Allen has 2 contested marks per game to Jackson's 1. So that's a key thing I'm looking at in terms of, can he help out forward, can he help out back? That's what I need the ruckman to do. But I still think Jackson is probably better in terms of hit-outs and all those statistics. But I feel he might just play more in the ruck. That might be the case. Last interchange is a questionable one. Sorry, not questionable actually. I think I've already also hinted at this bloke getting a gig in this team. But it is Max King, and yeah, my team any day. So previously I had bloke by the name of Andrew Brayshaw as captain. I thought about Andrew Brayshaw. Oh yeah, Andrew Brayshaw captain. Gives the worry off Welsh. I'm like, nah. Welsh leads from the front. He's the captain. And then vice captain, I think something a bit different. Jordan Ridley. He's elite in all of his, in so many statistics. I think it's hard not to pick him. So yeah. View my team selection. Here we go. So this is the team. Ooh. Okay, so we'll run through it from the back. So we've got Jordan Ridley, vice captain, Sam Taylor, Brandon Starsovich. Halfbacks, we've got Isaac Quaynor, Charlie Ballard, Will Powell. Bailey Smith on the wing, Sam Welsh, and then Justin Mcinerney on the other wing. The half forward line, we have Taron Thomas, Ben King, Shea Bolton. Full forward, we have Zach Bailey, Aaron Norton, Kazkazi Picket. And in the ruck and following, in the middle of the park, we have Oscar Allen, Andrew Brayshaw, and Luke Davies-Uniacke, also known as LDU. In the interchange, on the interchange rather, Tom McCartan for the backs, Tom Green and Chera in the middle, and then we've got Max King to support the forwards. So yeah, I am really liking this team, and there's not too much I can fault about it. I think maybe, the Jackson debaters, we've talked about Jackson versus Allen, but that's the main thing I see in this team. But yeah, I might be missing something. So let me know in the comments what you think, who I've missed, who I've disregarded, who I've gone too high on. But I also would like to hear how many games you think this team wins in 2021. Is this a finals team? Is this a top 4 team? Is this a grand final team? Yeah, so let me know in the comments. I think we'll just run through this team overall. It's the Suns with 3. Freo with 2. North with 2. I'm just trying to work out. Brisbane with 2. Melbourne could have had 2, but just a 1. Yeah, so it's pretty spread out. There's no team that really dominates. The most we have is just 3 in Gold Coast. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you liked my team. But yeah, honestly, I'm open to suggestions on what you think. But sorry, open to suggestions. But yeah, this is my team. It's not going to really change. This is the one I'll probably submit, even though I think I submitted another one somehow. But anyway, yeah, there's nothing else to worry about. So yeah, if you liked the video, please support the channel by leaving a like, subscribe, and yeah, as I said, comment and let me know what you think. And yeah, hopefully we can get a SuperCoach video up. I might have my All-Australian prediction out in the coming days. And yeah, that's it. So, as I said, I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay.